Hello, Profit Hackers. I'm Jeremy Lott, the Chief Visionary for Foundation Accounting and Consulting. I owned a construction company for about 15 years before making a change to accounting because my accountants sucked. My goals are to simplify accounting for construction company owners, fuel your profits, level up your cash flow, and help you grow in a financially responsible way. So let's go. Hey, Profit Hackers. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the M&Ms again, and how to divide up the money on the profit and loss. So when I was young, I had a bike. It was a blue and yellow BMX, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And we rode it all over the place. Well, then skateboards started to get popular, and I got a skateboard. I was never super good at it. I could ride it, but I was never really good at it. But one of my neighbors, one of my friends up the street, got really into skateboarding. And he built a small ramp. It was just like a quarter pipe, right? Just one ramp. And he brought that out into the street, and we were playing around, and he was doing his skateboard stuff on it, and I was riding my bike around. And for whatever reason, I decided it'd be really cool if I took my bike off the skateboard ramp. You know, got a really good jump in. Well, the problem is that if you're familiar with skateboard ramps versus bike ramps, a skateboard ramp curves and ends up going almost straight up at the end, right? Where a bike ramp is just kind of a steady slope, so you can jump. Well, again, I wasn't very smart back then, and I was on my bike, and his ramp was right there. So I decided I was going to go off the ramp on my bike, and I started pedaling as hard as I could and got going super fast because I really wanted to jump far. And I hit the bike ramp, or I hit the skateboard ramp, and it took me straight up, and then I fell backwards, and I landed on my back and got road rash all over my back. And it was kind of a miserable experience. And it took some of the other people there explaining to me what had happened to know what had gone on and why I shouldn't go off a skateboard ramp on a bike. Well, it's important to use the right tools, right? If you want to jump a bike, then you need a bike ramp, not a skateboard ramp, right? The same thing is true with your financials and the M&Ms. We have our system of accounting that all accountants use that, again, we talked about it in previous episodes, but it's called GAAP, or the Generally Accepted Accounting Principles. And these are the rules that the banks and investors and the IRS and other large entities like that expect you to provide your financials using this GAAP format. Well, that's wonderful for them. But for you, it's more important to rearrange the numbers so that they make sense for your business and so that you can use them to help you make business decisions. And so with that in mind, it's important to take and reorganize these things according to M&M Colors, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to separate out the red, blue, orange, and yellow M&Ms. We're going to take those, set those aside, and group them all together as one thing, right? And then we have the brown M&Ms. We're going to create a separate pile with those. The red, blue, orange, and yellow M&Ms represent direct costs and overhead or indirect costs. These are all costs that go on the truck to the job site to help do the work, right? So there's some obvious things that we put on there, like your labor and materials, which are the first two items, red and blue M&Ms. And then we have subcontractors and other direct items, which are the orange. And then all of the overhead or indirect costs are the yellow, right? So we set aside the red, blue, orange, and yellow from the brown and the green, which is our revenue. We talked about that in detail before. And now we know that in order to do the work, in order to produce the construction that we're doing, it's going to cost us red, blue, orange, and yellow M&Ms. And so we do the same thing with the profit and loss by breaking it up and grouping it together. What we really want are all the on-the-truck costs, everything that goes into doing the work. And we want to separate that from the brown M&Ms, which I call the hill. And so red, blue, orange, and yellow are a percentage of the green M&Ms. If the green M&Ms double, red, blue, orange, and yellow doubles as well. The brown M&Ms are a little bit different. If the business doubles, the brown M&Ms stay basically the same. They don't change. And I call it the hill because it is a big hill that you have to get over that doesn't really change. And you have to get over that hill in order to get into profits on the other side, right? So we're going to go into more detail about these different items and what they are in subsequent podcasts. For now, we're going to stop there, and we are going to move on to our next category and get into the detail on those direct, indirect, and selling general and admin, or the hill expenses. So thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. If you found this episode helpful, please like and subscribe for weekly episodes to help you fuel your profit, level up your cash flow, and finance your growth. Until next time, go enjoy some green M&Ms and protect that cash.